Let me tell you a story why it's so important to remember that fire. Um, I was young and there was a lot of stuff going around in my family and the village I was living in. And my mother had a really beautiful thing that she showed me. She saw when I was really working on my heart or on a deeper level, she sent me out. She would say, okay, you go outside, do your thing, and come back when you resolved your problem. And that took me on a trip. I have been keeping doing this my whole life and many adventures. But when I came into also contact with other indigenous people, they showed me how this fire connects all of us, how this fire burns in our hearts. And when we start remembering and start getting back to that fire in our hearts, that's where the fire keeping starts.
We all know this campfire, and we know when we're sitting around a campfire, something is happening to us. It's like we are coming home in a way. It's easy to share. It's easy to connect with our heart. It's just very natural to do that. And when we understood that it's the same what we do in our heart. When we start sitting in our heart in a comfortable chair and just feel our fire, that's the same thing. The moment we do that, the connection and the communication starts really working in yourself. And it's very easy and it's sometimes very difficult at the same time because we all have this longing for connection and coming home and feeling really all life joining us. Sometimes we can be feeling very alone and very separated. But as soon as you sit at your fire, something will change and it will help you to connect to your own spirit, but at the same time to the fires of every living being. So every being has a fire. Even if we do not understand it, even if we do not see it, it's still there. And the moment you sit at your fire, that's the moment it's connecting. It's the moment it's communicating.
And one thing we also learned is as you sit at that fire and ask your questions, you get better answers. You get really new answers. So that makes a huge difference because if you allow that connection, actually with the heart of Gaia, with the heart of all living beings, that heart will start sharing your answer, will start pulling in the answer you need because you open up. And it's very easy because if it gets cold, this is what we do. If it gets warm, this is what we do. So that's how the answer can come. It cannot come if we think too much because that's this. Air makes us cold, but the love and the warmth of fire helps us to open up. And we get way better answers with the quality to be for the good of all life, to support all life. And that's so important. Otherwise, we don't even know we're connected. And that's a huge loss.
In almost every ancient tradition, all around the world, they had fire keepers. They were the ones who helped the community to come back to the fire, the community fire. And not only the campfire or not only the fire outside of us, but also to connect here and to see what was the purpose of the community and if they were still in line with what they had to do. So the firekeeper was always helping them to get back in there and to be like more together so we get answers for all of us. Especially when we look back at those ancient communities, they had a lot of difficulties because they had to survive and they had to work together with nature. So it was really of life importance to start listening on this level and to include everything. So the firekeepers were really in charge of this task to keep the community together, but also keep the community on track in their purpose, in their way of moving forward, in their way of safety. So that's a really important part. And we forgot about it in a way. And when we started teaching people about the fire and about how this is working in yourself, miracles are happening. And that's really beautiful because we aren't doing anything. We're just guiding them back to the fire, guiding them back to their inner fire. And then it's just opening up. And I love that.
Yes. And the extra, also what starts happening, wisdom starts to grow. Because as soon as you start aligning with the bigger life and the heartbeat of Gaia, wisdom will start coming. With everything we've learned, the wisdom really starts coming. And that opens up the future together with Gaia, together with all beings on Earth.